And if I want these to stand apart from the other ones, I'll just select that column, press Control on my keyboard, select that row, and I could even make that background color a little bit different here so I can tell what it is that I'm working on. If I want the grand total of that, well, there it is. All right, this is just a simple spreadsheet, but wouldn't it be nice to have a name overall so we know what it is we're working with? Let's insert a row above row 1. We want to have a title of this spreadsheet. I can select the entire row, and then I can go here on my home ribbon, home tab on my ribbon, and choose Insert. What do I want to insert? Cells, insert rows into the sheet, or insert an entire sheet. Notice column is not a selection because I have a row selected. It does not know where in the world it could insert that column, therefore it doesn't even give me that choice. I could have also done a right click. Right click would allow me to insert, and it's going to insert whatever it is I have selected. Because I have a row selected, it inserts a row. If I were to select one cell and right click and choose Insert, notice how it has 3 dots. 3 dots indicates a dialog box is coming up. It's going to say, all right, what do you want to do? Insert an entire row, an entire column? Do you want to shift the cells down, shift the cells to the right? If I choose OK, now look, I have a blank little area in there. I don't really want that, so I'm going to select these items and move them right back up. I could have done an undo as well. If I want to delete one of these extra rows, I can select the entire row and I can right click and choose delete, or I can just simply click the delete button up there. I could have also cut it with Control X on my keyboard, or however you like to find cut. By cutting this, it just would have cut it, put it on the clipboard, and then the next time I copied or cut something, it would have overridden that on the clipboard. That's really the difference between cutting and deleting. Cutting, it keeps it until you want it later. What should we call this? Let's call this first quarter sports shop sales. I'll hit enter. That doesn't look so great though, does it? If I select all of these cells, I can center and merge these cells together so that my label first quarter sports shop sales will be nice and evenly centered across this entire selection, this entire spreadsheet, in this case, columns A through E. So I select what cells I want to merge, and I use this button here, and this will merge the cells and also center the data or text in the middle of it. So now this is just one cell. It's all considered A1. One cell with the text nicely centered and merged. I can make it a little bit bigger. Now I can change this back to that Arial rounded to look like the other one. I could even change the background color a little bit. I don't know. I don't think that that looks all that fantastic. I'll choose undo. I'm going to leave it just like that. Well, I take it back. I don't like the way this whole thing looks. I'm going to put it all back to automatic font color. I'm going to put it all back to no fill. And now I am going to go to my page layout tab. And I'm going to take a look and see if there are any themes that I really would like to take advantage of here. As I roll over, it shows me some of the different choices that I have. This is aspect. Notice it figured out that my totals should be a little bit larger than the rest of my text. Also, when I did the auto sum, it did pick up that I should have my totals look like the accounting numbers there. I'm not sure I'm still all thrilled with the way this looks, but when we get into the advanced formatting, we'll talk more about how you can make it look fantastic. I always want to label my sheets. Sheet 1 is not descriptive enough, so I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to call that Q1, because I could always go in here and add more data later for Q2, and won't it be nice if I'm able to read and understand which sheet is which? So when I click on this, I go back to Q1. I was just simply double clicking, and then when I hit enter, I was able to enter this data. I could always select it and change it if I want to at a later time. Q1, enter, fine with me. At this point in time, I'm going to save my spreadsheet. It's called Book 3 just because this is the third time I've opened up a new file in Microsoft Excel. I'll click Save, and it's going to throw me into My Documents by default. It's the same as always. I could always put this in a different location. I'm fine with this location. I'm going to call this my Sport Shop Sales. It's saving it by default as an Excel workbook .xlsx because that's your Excel 2007 default. Of course, I could always change that to .xls if I need to email this to someone who's not using Excel 2007. If they're not using 2007, they can't open this type of file. I'll click Save, and now my title bar up here has updated to the name of my file. Well, if we were going to use this information for our second quarter, there's a couple things we could do. I could select all this text by clicking and dragging, and I could go back and copy by choosing copy, or I could right-click and choose copy. Of course, that fell off the end of the screen. I'll right-click down here so you can see it. Copy. This indicates that it's on my clipboard, those dashed lines. Then I could go to Q2. I'm in A1, and I could press Paste. I could press Control-V, or I could just press Enter to bring that in. But notice it's not going to be sized just like it was before. That's why sometimes what I like to do is copy the entire sheet. Doesn't matter what you have selected. You can right-click on the sheet. Then you can choose Move or Copy. What do I want to copy? Well, Q1. Well, where do I want to copy it? I want to copy it before sheet 3. I want to put a check mark and create a copy. Then when I choose OK, I have my second version of Q1. They're identical, but it's nice because I didn't have to go through resizing columns and rows and all that information. So pretty much I should give this a more descriptive name. In order to do that, I'm going to delete my Q3 sheet, I'm going to delete my Q4 sheet, and I'm just going to call this Q3. You know we're in the world of pretend, so we would have to basically delete the real numbers, and we would have to modify these to say the right months for Q3 there. So we'll save that for later activity. Notice I didn't delete my formulas because I know I'm going to put more data in there. Excel now is smart enough to realize, oh, there's nothing to calculate, so I'm just going to give you a dash indicating there's no data. You used to receive an error that said, hey, I'm so confused, this is a formula, but I have nothing to compute. Well, I'd have to update that too, wouldn't I? When I select this cell, I could either double click in this cell and type third, or I'll show you here when I go to Q2, I could select it and then I could go up here to the formula bar and make that change there. Also, when you select a cell, if you press F2 on your keyboard, you're in edit mode, and then you can use your arrows to go back and forth between these words. Control in the left arrow will take you word by word. Control in the right arrow bumps you word by word, which is also a shortcut technique. The reason why I'm telling you these simply are because when you're in Excel, you are going to be typing quite a bit. You don't necessarily want to take the time to grab that mouse. Well, we would have to make the change to all this information as well. Just in the spirit of consistency, I'll do that. We made some changes, right? So we should save this. Control S on my keyboard, or just clicking the Save button up here, or going to the Office button and choosing Save will do that all for me. Once we do this, we're going to send it off to our teammates so they can take a look at it and do whatever it is that they need to do. You have to have Microsoft Outlook hooked up. As I do, it opened up a new email, and I could send this to whoever I wanted to. Of course, include some very important text. Click the Send button, and I know my part of this job is done, and now it's in the hands of someone else to look at it and give me their comments. This has just been the basics regarding putting together a spreadsheet, but we certainly did cover a large amount of information. No doubt you have to input the text and numbers. You could have figured that one out on your own, I'm sure. But hopefully being able to see the autofill technique gave you some ideas of what you can do to maybe improve the efficiency that you work with Excel. We have some basic formatting techniques. Some auto sum has been around for a while, but hopefully you feel more comfortable with it if you didn't already, or at least now you know where you can find it. It's a fantastic tool that really can save you a great deal of time. Inserting rows and columns is just a right click away, or you can go to the ribbon to find the very simple to use command. And of course, cut, copy, and paste is on the ribbon. On your home ribbon, it's a right click away, or you can simply make sure you select cells that your cursor looks the right way, black plus for copy, 2 arrows overlapping for cut, then you can simply click and drag. The more you work with these items and keyboard commands, the quicker that you can become at, well, doing the small details of Excel so you can really focus in on your job. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.